Hello, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan. Today is day 136 of my 3 year challenge to get my health and wellness under control. Just to kind of recap everything about me in case this is the first time that you're checking out one of my videos. On November 1st of 2020, I decided to start water fasting. I water fasted throughout the month of November. I completed a 42-day water fast. I went to 1,000 hours. In that time, I lost 90 pounds. After that, me and my wife, Carrie, who's checking in. Hi, Carrie. She was already switched over to a whole food plant-based diet, and I switched to a whole food plant-based diet, and we did that for a few months. We both did a short extended fast here at the end of February, and we are back into the whole food plant-based. But in the 4.5 months so far, I'm down about 155 pounds. So things have been going really good with my challenge. The big thing for me is that I am doing this for 3 years. I'm dedicated to making this a focus or making this a priority for 3 years. Because I've had lots of weight loss success in the past, but it's sticking to it that has always kind of given me the biggest struggle. So, if anybody has any non-scale victories that they would love to like to share, I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear how you're doing on your diets as well. For me, today's Tuesday, so I did not broadcast yesterday. I knew I was not going to be broadcasting yesterday, so I'm back today. It was a good weekend. It was a lot of travel for us over the weekend. We knew there was going to be a decent bit of travel, but we it was a lot happened kind of over the weekend. It was kind of there's a lot of ups and downs as far as emotions with the weekend, and overall we kind of persevered and had a great weekend, and everything is going well with everything. So with what happened, I guess, is that we had planned to leave town on Sunday morning to go on a road trip that we were gonna get back on Monday afternoon. I've mentioned it in the past, but we have an older dog that has been having some health issues, and so Sunday morning I had everything lined up for the person who normally comes over and takes care of our dog to take care of him while we were gone for we were going to be gone for about 28 hours. I guess it was, just over 24 hours or so. um and we woke up, and our dog was having some health issues that we were worried about. Hey, what's going on, Anthony? Thanks for checking in. And so we were worried about the health issues he was having, and I ended up taking him to like an emergency vet place on Sunday morning. We got him kind of checked out and stabilized what was going on with him the best we can. And I had to kind of change our plans overall for how we were going to take care of him because I didn't want to leave him alone. So Sunday morning, kind of before we were planning on leaving, everything kind of got tossed around and shuffled around or whatever. And so we ended up leaving town about 2 hours later than we expected to leave town. Or I guess, yeah, we left town. It was a fine, anyways. But in the whole shuffling of everything, getting everything ready, mine and Carrie's diet was kind of the last thing on either of our minds, I suppose. And so we ended up kind of leaving, and we had some stuff for us, but I know Carrie had planned on cooking some baked potatoes so that we would have some baked potatoes. And there was a few other things that I think we would have hoped to have prepped before we left that didn't get done. And we kind of were stressed about the dog stuff and then getting on the road. And so we ended up getting going, and we had a great time with what was going on, even with uh, the stuff with the dog in the background. Um, but we did get put into a position where there was not good food options for us at any point. I think that, oh, we also were going to bring some bread. Oh my God, what did I walk into? I hope everyone, yeah, everything's okay. My dog had gotten sick right before we left town on Sunday, and it kind of derailed all our plans. And so we had to get him taken care of, uh, and get kind of new arrangements for him to be watched. And so, like I was saying, we didn't really end up having much food, and I'm trying to think of what we even ate. I guess we had dressing and carrots and veggies, and but we just did not have um uh any food. I mean, I don't think, yeah, we ended up getting food for the kids where we were at, which was fine, and they had options for them. uh and then, kind of when we left the hotel that morning, we had a long drive on Monday to kind of finish the round trip for us. And we stopped at two gas stations at least throughout the trip, and they were both in pretty remote areas, and neither one of them had any fresh fruit or anything that we could really eat. The one place I asked, and she said, "Oh, I should have some bananas," and there was an empty basket sitting right in front of the um yeah. So yeah, they didn't have bananas or anything, and we ended up getting to a position, and we also got hit with a huge snowstorm like while we were driving. And so what was gonna be 5 hours total of driving ended up being like 7.5 hours total of driving. And uh overall, it wasn't until we got to a place where we ended up finally getting to a large enough town that they had a grocery store, and Carrie went in and just bought the most ripe bananas she could find. I think a bag of oranges. Yeah, I think it was oranges, but it was apples, and then some almonds. And like, I was fine, and then we got to the place, and I was like, okay, you could, you know, as fast as you can get that food, it won't be fast enough. Uh and so that was the only time that I felt like desperate for food, like, because I was also driving through the snowstorm, and so I was very focused on what I was doing, and so food wasn't really the first thing on my mind. But just overall, that kind of the experience of this weekend where I ate food, and I got as much food that uh, uh, Carrie says she hasn't been that long hungry in a long time, probably since that fast, right? It's the 3 days of not eating. But yeah, it was. Oh, they had a continental breakfast at the hotel. That's what we had for breakfast, and so Carrie ended up having oatmeal. I probably should have had oatmeal, but I ended up just actually kind of eating an orange, but I didn't even peel it because it was so hard to peel. I just like cut it and like pretty much juiced the orange into my mouth for breakfast. Uh and But overall, like today I'm feeling great. I did hop on the scale, and I broken that 363 kind of plateau. I hope it maintains to tomorrow. I could eat tonight and then gain 5 pounds from oranges. Um Right. So Carrie, yeah, she had plain oatmeal that every time she put a bite of oatmeal in her mouth, she took a bite of an apple. That way it was like an apple oatmeal. You gotta take you gotta take those lemons and make lemonade. And that's definitely what we did with it. And it was nice once we did get to that grocery store. We were able to get a few different things, some carrots and some other things to eat for the rest of the ride home, till we got home where we had some foods to for the night. So, um, but overall, it was so stressful, and like the I had a thought, like when I had to take my dog to the emergency hospital, and everything is so goofy with COVID now because like you can't be with the dog, and so uh like I dropped him off and I'm sitting in the car and they call me up and they're like, "Hey, we have to run these tests. It's going to take about 45 minutes to do this testing. If you want, you can go and we'll call you and let you know what's going on and all that." And like I never had a thought of actively going and doing it, but my what I thought about in my head is like how I would have used food to cope with the situation that I was in at the time. Like, especially since it was something where I was all by myself. Like I didn't have any other family members or anything like that. But like, uh, and I mentioned it to Carrie after the fact, but it was kind of like, uh, previously, I would have been like, all right, well, Hardee's is 2 blocks down the road. I'll run and grab Hardee's, and that will, because there's no way I can make these decisions or think about this on an empty stomach. I'm gonna have to go get something to eat. And so, like, I thought about how that is how I would have dealt with this 6 months ago. That I would have gone, and it would have been, um, just easier to just go, and because dealing with the stress of the dog, and I was a little hungry because I didn't eat. I mean, like, really, when I think about how much I ate this weekend, there was just not much because of all the stress I was dealing with that. And because like I don't think I even ate breakfast that morning. Uh, or maybe I had a bite of oatmeal on the way out the door when I took him. So uh but I feel like it didn't have that addiction to food didn't have that same control over me like it used to have. And I really felt like the only reason I was thinking about it is that I was thinking about how much different place I'm in now, is that's not what I like. And and I can't help to think, like, I also like I felt a lot of emotion over the course of Sunday morning, over what we had to deal with, talking about with him, and talking about costs for finding things out, or because of his age and things like that. And I feel as if I couldn't help feel all these emotions, and I probably would have felt those emotions had I been eating the way I was eating. But like, maybe going and getting Hardee's and focusing on the food and the that part of it would have taken my mind off of being in the moment and making these decisions about um the dog. And so uh gosh, where was I even going with this? um that before, like, the salt and the oil and the sugar, probably the most, and all of the comfort that I got from food uh kept me from feeling the full impact of the emotions that I ended up feeling, like, and I think that was kind of something I thought about a little bit too, is that, like, would I be this emotional over this if I was eating a unhealthier diet? Like, because it was tough because it was hard to control it, but it's also not something that I have to deal with much. I don't have to. It's not. You don't have those big kind of moments in your life. So um that yeah, so Anthony's saying treat yourself to some loose fitting clothes, just an idea. Carrie said that's better than eating for sure. um all my clothes are loose fitting clothes right now. Everything that I have around is loose fitting clothes. Outside of the stuff I just picked up from storage there that I had to get out of storage last week that I talked about. So I have plenty of loose fitting clothing, that's for sure. Which is nice. I think it's also nice in hindsight when I look at the stress that I had this weekend and I look at the scale, the fact that the number went down versus going up or staying the same. That's probably a victory in itself for me as well, because um it would have been a lot easier to get. That's right. I bought the kids fast food Saturday night, I think, and then that's what they had for food as well. So that's why we didn't stop for food as much or something. But yeah, if dealing with uh he says you should get yourself some new clothes. Yeah. I definitely do. I just like I'm in such a weird limbo spot with it all. Like all of this whole thing, I feel like I'm in this weird like the honeymoon phase of starting the weight loss and having just huge numbers of losses and success and stuff like that's happened, and I'm still losing, but the being able to say I lost 90 pounds in 45 days or 150 pounds in 120 days, those numbers become less sensational the longer I do this, especially since I'm going to focus a lot on the whole food plant-based aspect and less on the fasting or the extended fasting throughout the next 6 months to a year. Um, and so I know I'm kind of in this period where uh, I'm gonna be 360 to 340 over the next few weeks. It's not gonna be like that first month or even 2 months in where I went. I'm going from 450 pounds to 435 pounds in 7 days or 9 days. So I'm gonna have to start getting some stuff that do fit better now because I'm gonna be in that stuff for a longer period of time. And so and like you said, it might help me feel better, right? So let's see. So Tara's asking, what do you think about even the ability to analyze a situation this past weekend? I think clarity of thought is a non-scale victory. Yeah, like that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, is Hardy's what would have muted that experience, and like I would have still felt, or it's not this experience because we're still dealing with them, but um yeah, like and maybe that is we've talked about this in the I've talked about this in the past about with alcoholism and or food, any addiction, like the during the rehabilitation process you go through a period where um you get, I suppose, resentful, or you get kind of like you realize that the effect that had on you, but I don't know how to explain it, after the fact or outside of that moment. And that's kind of what, yeah, I think that being able to um look at it is nice. I mean, in hindsight, who knows you know what I was thinking at the time, but I know that I really feel like on the way into work that I'm really getting past the addiction to that stuff. Like anytime where I was like, I need to get food or I'm hungry, it was never, I need to get food, I'm hungry, I'll take whatever I can take. It was never that, up to a point. I mean, I'll take what I could take, ended up being carrots, apple, and almonds. Um, and there's no salt on any of those. It's whole food. I mean, that was not uh and so and I was willing, and I would have gone another 3 hours without eating, And the fasting, I think, is what's helped me the most with that too, is that I know I can go another 3 hours without eating. It might suck, I might be hungry, but I'm not gonna just, as long as I have water and I'm not doing super act, I mean, I was just driving. I wasn't like running or working out or doing anything heavily active. So, um, but but yeah, so overall coming into work this today and just feeling, thinking about this weekend and just how I never really uh had those, urges to go off diet, and I just feel like I have such a better control over things than I've ever had as far as my diet and things like that. And really uh I can go home today and I could binge on salads or potatoes, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it either, cuz I know overall um it's going to be good for my body to eat a lot of food. Like, I think that having, periods of feast and famine aren't going to be awful for us either. And when you can feast, if you are eating the right things and putting the right things in your body, you can feast and it not be a lot of calories too. I think that's going to be um, a big thing I talk about, is the volume of food that you do get to eat. When you eat a lot, if you want to binge, you can eat a lot of spinach and it's not a lot of calories. You can eat a good amount of potato and it's not a lot of calories. So um, that's why um, I like this diet so much, really, is that I don't feel like I'm restricting myself unnecessarily. Um but yeah, I mean, as far as the weekend, it was overall a great weekend, and in hindsight, it would have been a much worse weekend. Um, and so that's definitely a positive. I know I'm gonna have a bad day or a bad weekend coming up not long from now, but it's the yeah. So um but yeah, so yeah, I mean, and I'm, yeah, I'm grateful for everything I have, and I'm grateful for the time that we get to have with him too. So, anyways, that's about all I have today. Tomorrow's going to be Wednesday. We're gonna do weigh-in Wednesday. I'm gonna hop on the scale and let you guys know how the week went, or let me know how the week went. I think it'll be good. It's been pretty stagnant for the last couple weeks, so to see the needle move, it'll make me happy. Um, so yeah, if you guys join me tomorrow, I'd love to hear how you do or how you're doing on your diets and on the scale. As always, thanks for checking out the stream. If you get a chance, make sure you subscribe below. Turn on the notifications. I try to go live most weekdays at 4 p.m. Central. I'll be on tomorrow and the rest of this week, as far as I know. Um, we have a Discord. The link is down below. If you want to join the Discord, ask questions, just join, let us know, how you're doing with your weight loss. We'd love to hear it or see it, see you join us. um and Carrie says she's weighing in tomorrow, so I'm excited to see. She's been kind of scared of the scale since we did that fast. It's kind of going down with the fast and then being stagnant there. It's kind of a mental, kind of screws with you. So thanks, Anthony. You guys all have a great day. Instagram at Fasting, if you want to get photo updates on things like that. All right, everybody, you have a great day. I will talk to you guys all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central, weigh in Wednesday.